They are funded to detain 41,500 people. Before this latest escalation in raids, they already had more than 51,000 people detained. And that means that these conditions are not going to work for the number of people they have. And that's why all across the country, we have seen allegations of overcrowding, underfeeding, and unsanitary conditions at those facilities. Just 2 weeks ago, detainees at an immigration detention center in Florida were seen spelling out SOS with their bodies. You can see it right there on the screen. NPR reported on allegations of overcrowding, lack of food, and rampant untreated illnesses at that facility. Immigration officials deny those claims. A week ago tonight, 4 detainees escaped a detention center in New Jersey, and local press reports that those 4 escaped during a riot inside the facility that started after detainees protested what immigrants' rights groups said was insufficient food. Immigration officials also deny those claims. A few weeks ago, we brought you the story of 18-year-old Marcelo Gomez da Silva, who was detained on his way to soccer practice. There he is on the screen. He spent 6 days, he's an 18-year-old, in an immigration detention facility in Massachusetts, which he described like this.
I don't want to cry, but I want to say that that place, it's not good. It's not good. Ever since I got here, they had me in handcuffs. They put me downstairs, and I was in a room with a bunch of 35-year-old men, and those rooms were small compared to the size of like how many men were there. There was like 40 men in there. No one deserves to be down there. You sleep on concrete floors. The bathroom, I have to use the bathroom in the open with like 35-year-old men. Like, it's humiliating.
He's an 18-year-old kid, just describing that, being in a position to describe that. I should also add that this week, the spokesperson for Immigration and Customs Enforcement called Marcelo's description of his detention that you heard him just give bravely blatant lies. Marcelo himself says he stands by his comments. And with disputes over the basic facts about the conditions of detention centers, and detention centers already over capacity, which we just know simply by the numbers, and federal agents arresting so many more people every day, the need for oversight is clear. And by law, members of Congress are supposed to be able to access federal immigration detention facilities at any time they want to perform that oversight. But over and over and over again, all across the country, they are getting turned away. Here was the scene in New York yesterday as Congressman Jerry Nadler and Dan Goldman were denied entry to a detention center on the premise that it isn't a detention center. It's just a processing facility where people are allegedly housed for days without beds. They were denied entry. Here was the scene in Chicago yesterday as 4 members of Congress tried to get access to a detention facility where they had received reports of people sleeping on the floor and going without food. They were also denied entry. They are allowed to get access to these facilities anytime they want by law. They continue to be denied entry. And take a look at how Congressman Jonathan Jackson and Raja Krishnamoorthi were treated when they tried to get into the same facility on Wednesday.
I am an officer with ICE.
You're an officer with ICE?
You have a badge,
you have an ID, can you see it?
I don't have to show that to you.
You don't have to show
I'm telling you to leave. I've already identified myself. I'm an officer
Can you
with
show me a
ICE.
badge or an ID?
You're not allowed to be here. Police are coming. Okay?
What are we doing that's improper, sir? Who are you?
They literally shut the window on members of Congress so that they wouldn't have to keep talking to them. In Los Angeles, Representative Jimmy Gomez, who represents most of downtown LA, has been repeatedly denied access to a federal building where immigrants from some of LA's recent raids are being held. First, they told him he needed an appointment. He doesn't. Then they told him it was unsafe for him to enter. Not true. And then on Tuesday, they told him this.
They said that my oversight of this facility doesn't apply because this is not a detention facility. Well, it does say Metropolitan Detention Center right here in big, bold letters, but they say that this is a processing center.
The Department of Homeland Security is playing semantics, that's one of the things they're doing, to try to deny Congress its legal right of oversight over their facilities. Today, the Washington Post reported that DHS had issued new guidance this month about congressional oversight visits. Under the new protocol, members of Congress are asked to provide notice of an impending visit to any ICE facility at least 72 hours in advance. They said that Congress's oversight powers only apply to detention centers and not field offices, even if those field offices are where people are being physically detained, which in many cases they are. Obviously, this can't stand. It shouldn't stand. The question is, what can members of Congress do about it? What can anyone do about it? How can they fight back against these detention facilities that appear to be breaking the law?